You may eat shellfish or hear about them all the time, but do you really know what a shellfish is? Did you know that shellfish have a heart, a full digestive, reproductive, and respiration systems? They may seem small, but there's a whole life going on inside those tough shells. Shellfish belong to the phylum Mollusca, which are known as mollusks. Mollusks have soft bodies and usually have an internal or external shell. There are many animals within the Mollusca phylum. Some popular ones are clams, octopus, and snails. The body plan of mollusks include four main parts: the foot, mantle, shell, and versicle mass. Out of the three, the mantle might sound the most unknown to you. The mantle is a thin layer of tissue that covers most of the mollusk's body, very similar to a cloak. In the mantle, there are glands which produce calcium carbonate, which create the shell. The versicle mass is located beneath the mantle, which consists of internal organs. Mollusks can be herbivores, carnivores, detritivores, parasites, or filter feeders. Shellfish are mostly filter feeders and use their gills to do so. Their food enters through the in-current siphon. Water and waste then pass over the gills again and lead to the ex-current siphon. You may think mollusks need to breathe. You would be surprised, because indeed they do. Aquatic mollusks, such as shellfish, breathe using their gills, which is inside their mantle cavity. Mollusks may have an open or closed circulatory system. How on earth does a shellfish excrete? Well, the cells of the body release nitrogen containing waste into the blood of the shellfish in the form of ammonia. The tube shape called nephrita removes ammonia from the blood and releases it from the body. Most two-shelled mollusks, like shellfish, live pretty inactive lives. That means they have very simple nervous systems that includes a small ganglia near their mouth, a few nerve cords, and basic sense organs, like eye spots. Shellfish reproduce sexually by external fertilization. They release great amounts of eggs and sperm into the open water. The eggs are then fertilized in the water and then developed into free-swimming larvae. Some mollusks can be hermaphrodites, which means having both male and female reproductive organs. In this photo, it shows a mollusk laying its eggs. There are many classes within the phylum Mollusca. However, shellfish belong to the class bivalves. Mollusks from the class Bivalvia are described to have two shells that are held together by one or two powerful muscles. Fish are an amazing species. They belong to the Chordata phylum. There's endless facts and things to learn about fish. All fish have three things in common. They are aquatic vertebrates that are characterized by paired fins, scales, and gills. They use their fins for movement, their scales for protection, and their gills for exchanging. The history of fish go way back. In fact, the earliest time a fish appeared in the fossil record was 510 million years ago. That's crazy! The feeding of fish can vary immensely. They can be herbivores, carnivores, parasites, filter feeders, and detritus feeders. An interesting fact is that a fish may use more than one of these types of feedings, depending on what food is available. Fish have a pretty basic digestive system. Food enters through their mouth, passes through a short tube called the esophagus that leads to their stomach, and then it is partially broken down. Most fish have a finger-like pouch called the pyloric ceca, where the food is further processed. The intestine completes the process of digestion. Any undigested material is eliminated through the anus. You may wonder, how do fish breathe? Do they really have a respiration system? Well, the answer is yes, they do. Fish exchange gases using their gills, located on either side of the pharynx. The gills are made up of feathery-like structures called filaments. Most fish have one gill opening on each side of their body, through which water is pumped out of. Now some big fish, like sharks, have several gill openings. Fishes have a closed circulatory system. They have a heart that pumps blood around the body in a single loop. Most aquatic animals, most fish rid themselves of their nitrogenous wastes in the form of ammonia. Waste diffuses from the gills and kidneys. Fish can move from salty to fresh water by adjusting their kidneys' functions. Fish have a very well-developed nervous system that includes a brain. Most fish have a highly developed sense organs, such as eyes and color vision, that is at least good as ours. They also have extraordinary sense of taste and smell. Fish also have a sensitive receptor called the lateral line system, which helps them detect gentle currents and vibrations. This also helps them avoid prey. Humans serve the fish in many ways. Like airplane wings, they are stabilizers, adjust their direction, and are used like a rudder. Depending on the fish's species, their eggs may fertilize externally or internally. In most fish, the female lays her eggs and they hatch outside of her body. Fish who hatch outside their mother's body are called oviparous. As they hatch, they obtain food from the yolk of the egg. Fish who hatch inside their mother's body are called ovoviviparous. Ovoviviparous fish still use yolk inside the eggs to gain nutrients. However, there are fish that don't use the yolk and gain nutrients directly from their mother. Those fish are called viviparous. There are three main groups of fish: jawless fish, cartilaginous fish, and bony fish. Fish are very important to the ecosystem for several reasons. Fish eat and fish are eaten. Fish keep other populations under control by eating microorganisms and plankton. Fish also impact human culture as well. For example, fish is one of Japan's biggest food sources. Without fish, they would not have that as a food factor.